All right. Good morning, everybody. This is a fantasy sports boss, and a lot going down the pike as far as fantasy football news early this Tuesday. So I felt it would be prudent to jump on and do an impromptu stream. Now, this isn't the Football Friday show. Obviously, that will come on Friday, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be discussed. So I felt it would be easier instead of adding a whole bunch of smaller videos to just go live and discuss everything one tidbit at a time. The most recent, of course, is that the Detroit Lions put rookie wideout Jameson Williams on the reserve NFL list to begin the season. And right now, the hope is that Williams will be able to return around midseason. So it's a little bit of a bummer. I was hoping that Williams would be able to make it back sometime by the end of September, but he suffered that torn ACL so late in the season that it really kind of necessitated this move that was done by Detroit today. So certainly a disappointment, but again, not a shock. And for me, just because of the sheer volume of games that he's going to miss, I'm out completely on Jameson Williams. And, I love the talent. He's an absolute game breaker. Next season, he's going to be a major sleeper. But for this season, 2022, he's a non-story for me. So that's a rookie whiteout I'm out on. And in turn, the fallout here is that Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I absolutely love this season, is going to be even more potent a stock to invest in this season. So the Lions really have made no secret that they want to get the ball in the hands of St. Brown as much as possible. They're scheming their offense that way. Jared Goff loves the short to intermediate throws, and this jives perfectly with St. Brown's game. So I think that St. Brown is just going to be even more impressive with his numbers this season. Can he reach wide receiver one capacity? I don't know if he can do that just because, TJ Hawkinson's there, DeAndre Swift is there, DJ Chark is there. You have, three other guys that are capable of catching the football and siphoning off some looks from St. Brown. So I don't think he's going to go anywhere above wide receiver 2. But I think, St. Brown will benefit the most from Jameson Williams not being on the field until November. All right. So I do think you can take Williams off of your draft list, unless you go 5 receivers deep in your league. If it's 3 receivers or less, there's no reason to wait around for Williams. You're going to need those precious, injured list spots. So I would definitely let him go on by. Chase Young is also starting the season injured, and he will begin on the PUP. So anybody that was looking to use the Redskins defense, this is obviously a big blow there. So there's no reason to invest. It's not, they've invested heavily in that defensive line over the years. They've used a lot of high-end draft picks along that defensive line, but it just really hasn't come together. They were terrible last year defensively, the Commanders, and I don't think it's going to get any better this year. Tyler Conklin has been the primary read for Joe Flacco and Zach Wilson in camp. He is definitely going to be a top streamer at tight end. I think he's somebody that, when the bye weeks hit, you want to have him in your lineup. He's going to get a lot of looks. He did a lot of good things last year for the Vikings. And I think that he's somebody that, could be on the late round radar. All right, now this is the one that's concerning me the most. So Matthew Stafford, Jordan Rodriguez of The Athletic reported today that the Rams coaching staff will, quote, keep one eye on Matthew Stafford's throwing arm all season. So for the entire season, this elbow issue, tennis elbow, whatever it is going to be afflicting and a factor for Stafford all year. Now, that's not what you want to hear if you're using a first-round draft pick on Cooper Kupp. For me, in one of my leagues, I have the top pick. I've shared this already. In one of my the two leagues that I care about the most, I have the top pick. And I was all in on Cooper Kupp until we started learning about this elbow issue with Stafford. And now, as a result, I put Justin Jefferson ahead of him. And now I might even put Jamar Chase as well. Kupp as a mid-first round pick with a quarterback who's got a potential ticking time bomb in his elbow, yeah, I'm not feeling too comfortable about that. And even Stafford himself, I was looking to maybe even pair up Stafford and Kupp. Stafford is affordable, even though he went nuts last year with his numbers because he doesn't run. Everybody wants the Lamar Jacksons, they want the Jalen Hurts, and I totally get it. So that way, the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Bradys, the Matthew Staffords become values. But now I'm not even going to look at Stafford. You want to draft the team with the fewest amount of health-related question marks as you possibly can. And when it comes to Stafford, that's the opposite of that mantra. That's the opposite of that strategy. And Cooper Kupp is now potential collateral damage. All right. And to a lesser extent, Allen Robinson, who I also love. I'm still willing to look at Allen Robinson in the fourth or fifth round. But even he now has some risk because of Stafford's elbow. And Cam Akers doesn't really figure to be involved in the passing game too much. So I'm not as concerned about Cam Akers, although I don't even like Cam Akers this season. I've done a separate video on that. So this issue with Matthew Stafford is something that needs to be taken into consideration. Drafting the Rams wideouts, Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson. Expectations for Stafford himself as the fantasy football passer. And that will shake up the first round. I think Kupp is going to maybe even fall towards the second half of the first round based on this. And there's going to be people that will go Jamar Chase, and I'm fine with it. Prior to that, I'd say you're crazy. But I can see it now. And Justin Jefferson now is the clear number one choice among wide receivers. He's the top guy. I will take Justin Jefferson number one if I feel, especially in PPR leagues, I feel that Jefferson really can be that good this season with Kevin O'Connell coming in, bringing those Cooper Kupp strategies that allowed Kupp to go nuclear a year ago, bringing them to Minnesota. So anybody who drafts Justin Jefferson number one, I'm fine with it. And I'm considering that at number one overall in my league. I'm still probably going to go Jonathan Taylor. But my other league, my other important league that I'm in, I have the fourth pick, and I'm probably going to go Justin Jefferson because I love the value of him, potentially catching 140 passes, leading the league in yardage. Touchdowns. Adam Thielen is still kind of the top read in the red zone near the goal line for Kirk Cousins, which is frustrating for Jefferson. But other than that, 140 catches, 1,600 yards, absolutely in play. All right, so Isaiah Likely, I wanted to talk about this too. I did a video on him the other day, got a lot of views, got a lot of attention. He's gone bonkers this preseason, coming off that insane game the other day, 100 yards, 8 catches, a touchdown, all in the first half. Tyler Huntley and him were just playing pitch and catch. It is preseason. And we've already seen with Isaiah Pacheco, the ridiculous hype on him, and Breece Hall, who's now early fourth-round pick, which is utterly ridiculous to me that I talked about in that earlier video today. But Isaiah Likely now interests me because other than Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman, they don't have anybody for Lamar Jackson to really throw to. And they could do the New England 2 tight end set, Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski thing, and have both of these guys as fantasy viable option. They both can be options for Jackson. Likely was a fourth-round pick. He kind of fell through the cracks, Coastal Carolina. And I shared on Twitter my write-up on him that I did in my annual prospect book that I went on sale earlier this year. Tremendous athlete, has speed, can get down the field, can catch anything thrown to him. Think, Antonio Gates. That's a lofty comparison. I'm just talking about athletically. I'm not talking about the receiver. Gates is in a world of his own. But that kind of athletic profile that made Gates such a sensation Likely has that. And if they go 2 tight ends, and we're hearing today already that the Ravens are going to think about going 2 tight ends, as more often than they originally planned, then Likely now becomes a story. He becomes a late-round tight end with Austin Hooper, with Evan Engram, with David Njoku, with Irv Smith. There's a lot of late-round tight end streamers that could become viable stars. Tyler Conklin, who we talked about. You don't want to overhype preseason. You don't want to overhype rookies. We all fall into that trap. But Isaiah Likely is somebody I'm willing to take a look at very, very late in the draft now. And if it doesn't pan out, all right, I cut him loose. Ideally, you don't want to carry a backup tight end, but for him, I'll do it for a week or two, see what happens. See what the usage is, see what the game plan is. If Likely is going to be used that way, then I'm in. But it looks promising, for sure. All right, Sterling Shepard is going to be close to ready, maybe ready for week 1 for the Giants. Now, why is this important? Because Wan'Dale Robinson now is going to be impacted. The rookie who's been lining up in the backfield, the rookie from Kentucky, the Giants' second-round pick, has been put all over the place, out wide, in the slot. He's been put in the backfield. So Wan'Dale Robinson could get negatively impacted by Sterling Shepard coming off PUP and being ready possibly for week 1. Or the Giants, if they're smart, will just bench Kenny Golladay, who's been absolutely abysmal. He was abysmal last season. He's been horrendous so far this preseason. He dropped a touchdown pass in the first preseason game. And Daboll doesn't have any allegiance to Kenny Golladay. So if a scenario evolves where Shepard and Robinson and Kadarius Toney all play together in the offense on one play, then I'm fine with that. But Shepard's return, not what you want to see if you're holding stock in Robinson. All right. And honestly, Daniel Jones played well in the last preseason game, but I'm not sure you really want to chase too many Giants skill position players other than Saquon Barkley. And what I will say about Saquon Barkley, folks, is that the Giants used their sixth guy on the depth chart at center in the preseason game, in the second preseason game. So the Giants are down to their sixth option at center. I've talked about how Saquon Barkley is a risk on the simple fact that the Giants' offensive line has been an ongoing, horrendous, abysmal, disgusting, whatever negative adjective you want to use over the years. Now, they have invested heavily with Thomas, with Neal. They brought in Glowinski for guard. They brought in the center Feliciano. This is all going to help, but they still have to gel. They have to come together. They have to get reps. And Barkley, I brought up that stat on Football Friday last week that he had the 8th longest time in the backfield in the entire NFL last season. So he was doing a lot of dancing, a lot of east-west instead of north-south because the blocking wasn't good. All right. And I think that might be an issue too. Again, they're down to their 6th center right now. The injuries are absolutely decimating the interior of the Giants' offensive line. And that's a problem for Barkley. The hype for Barkley has gotten a little beyond my comfort zone. He's going in late first round in a lot of drafts. When he was going in the third round, that was fine by me. I was all in. Even in the second half of the second round or in the middle of the second round, I'm good. But when he's going early in the second, late first, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable of taking him over DeAndre Swift or Joe Mixon. All right. You have Aaron Jones there as well. I'm not comfortable with that. The Giants have been a train wreck offensively. We still don't know about Daniel Jones. And if he gets benched for Tyrod Taylor, that's another negative for Barkley because Taylor doesn't throw to his running backs. And he likes to take off and run. And that will hurt Barkley's yardage total. It'll lessen the amount of opportunities he'll get. I would love for the Giants to trade him. Could you imagine Barkley with the Chiefs? Chiefs need a running back. They haven't. Barkley's not signed beyond this season. I can't see the Giants investing in a running back, paying him all that money who's had all those injuries. And in Buffalo, where Daboll's from, they're using, 3 running backs right now. Singletary and Cook. And, it goes against what Daboll has done in the past. So let's be a little careful with Saquon Barkley. All right. I do love him. The comeback potential is there. He's another year removed from surgery, but the risk is still there. I would take DeAndre Swift over him. Like I said, I would take Joe Mixon over him, maybe even Aaron Jones. All right. So, yeah, be careful with Barkley. All right, now last thing before I jump off is Kyle Pitts. So Twitter almost broke when he caught that 52-yard pass from Marcus Mariota yesterday. He made mincemeat of Bryce Hall in coverage of the Jets. I've spoken already about Pitts. I did a separate video on him. I love the player. I hate the setup. I hate the offense. The quarterback, Mariota. Well, I will say Mariota has played well this preseason. He played well in his spot start a year ago. Maybe a fresh scenery will unleash the potential, as a former second overall pick. Maybe it's like an Alex Smith situation where Smith got out of the San Francisco organization and he went to Kansas City and he did some tremendous things. It's possible. With a third round price tag for Kyle Pitts, I'm nervous. So is he worth it on skill alone? Yes. Mariota throwing to him, He's probably going to get double covered a lot unless Drake London hits the ground running. I do like Drake London, but I'm a little nervous. I want to get one of those 3 tight ends to give myself an advantage early on. Kelce over Andrews. And honestly, I have my negatives about Andrews too. I will grab Kelce if he drops in the second round. I won't grab Andrews in the second round. I will grab Pitts in the third, though, even though I'm a little hesitant on him. But if I don't get Pitts, then it's on to Dalton Schultz in round 5 or 6. If I don't get Schultz, then I'm waiting until Cole Kmet or one of the late round guys. So it's either Kelce in round 2, Pitts in round 3, Schultz in round 5 or 6, Kmet next, and then if I don't get any of those guys, it's a late round dart throw with Evan Engram, Austin Hooper, Isaiah Likely. So that's what I would do at the tight end position. All right. So drafts are fully underway. It's an exciting time. I have my 2 drafts next Thursday and next Saturday. I'm still planning to do heavy receivers early, getting an anchor running back possibly. And, the one issue I have in that league where I'm picking 4th is if Christian McCaffrey falls to me at 4, oh man, I'm going to be tempted. If it's between Justin Jefferson and Christian McCaffrey, I have a strong decision to make. Taylor, I expect to go number 1. Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry will be there, possibly pick 2 and pick 3. I don't think McCaffrey will fall to me at 4. But if he does and Jefferson's still there, I have a decision to make. If I go McCaffrey and in the second round, I'm going to have to grab a receiver, probably Mike Evans or T. Higgins, and then maybe grab Pittman in the third round or Kyle Pitts if I pivot to tight end. Ideally, I want to go Jefferson round 1, come back with another wideout in round 2, maybe Mike Evans, or if Leonard Fournette drops, I would take him. And that could be my anchor running back. I like Fournette more than most, I admit. I know he misses a couple of games. He's going to catch 1 million passes by Tom Brady. They're going to throw it a lot. The interior of the Tampa Bay line is a mess. They've had injuries. Ryan Jensen's out for the year. They just lost one of their prospective guards. So I do like Fournette better than most. So if he falls to me in round 2, I'll take him. So if I can start Jefferson and Fournette, and then round 3, either grab Pittman or Pitts, I'm good. And then I'll just fill out from there. All right. But anyway, so again, I just wanted to do a quick stream today. A lot of stuff to talk about. I didn't want to do a million different videos, so I just figured I'd talk about it all at once. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Football Friday is happening this Friday. I haven't decided on the time. I will post it soon, so you get a notification on that. And, any other major news that comes down the pike from now until then, I'll be jumping on with instant analysis. All right, so again, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will talk soon. Take care.